Hi, Natalie. Thanks for your questions through the email. Here I'm trying to answer them via this video call. Let me know if that's also okay. And let's start with the first question and let's start answering all of it. So you can have a beautiful interview, maybe a video interview in this way that you can share with your network. Hello, everyone. I'm Nick from Breda. I'm a Dutch entrepreneur, a social entrepreneur that has been around for like 5 years now. That I've been busy building up startups and setting up formats for social entrepreneurs to thrive. I'm now 27. I'm almost 28. I am born on the 29th of February, which is almost going to happen. So I'm really excited to have my birthday again. And it's also something that people quite often say, okay, yeah, you're that crazy guy that is born on that crazy day. What they mean with that is that since I've been able to quit gaming in 2012 and in 2013 started to become an entrepreneur, I've been through a lot of things. I've seen a lot of different worlds. So I've organized events in San Francisco where I happened to have helped around 150 homeless people on the streets because I couldn't look at them and do nothing about the situation. I think that's also what helps you start a social enterprise. So if you are connected with your heart to a social cause, like one of the Sustainable Development Goals, you eventually want to do something about it. You're frustrated about it. You are worried about it. You're angry or sad with the situation, and you want to solve it. What I've done since I quit gaming in 2012, I started searching for people that were misfits like I was. So I found a community that was called Young Creators, which were young people under the age of 25 that were setting up their own projects, their own ideas. And I got really excited about that because they were just starting something, something like a web shop or a clothing brand, a fashion item. Anything was okay, but they learned the crafts and the mastery of creating. And I learned a lot from them, and I started writing. I started setting up a blog, and I started with writing about social entrepreneurship because that was really interested about, and how people were able to set up a successful enterprise successfully, because it's 10 times harder than setting up a commercial enterprise. But that, I think, is going to change in the future. Now climate change is happening and real, and people are more and more seeking for meaning in their work instead of just making money. So I think that hanging around in communities has changed my perspective on entrepreneurship and being outside and seeing a lot of things, things that I worried about, seeing that and realizing that if I bring those together, I can turn from a misfit and an activist towards a social entrepreneur, a practivist, as I can name that. So with that blogging and writing over 150 articles about entrepreneurship and culture and lots of interesting technology, I started organizing events. I started setting up my own consultancy firm, Nick van Breda Consultancy, where I was able to give all these youngsters a stage on a startup event, for example. And that was the start of my social business. I was able to write and give people a stage on an event where they are able to pitch themselves. And that helped a lot of people, over 10,000 people already, in turning their ideas into their job. After that, I started organizing events that were more into making, which were hackathons. And nowadays I've been organizing over 85 hackathons. I guess I cannot even count them anymore, where we are tackling society questions. mostly society questions. Sometimes it's a school question that we are willing to solve, like how can we prepare the students' classroom for the future, or how can we solve the waste in the classrooms, and solve the habits of people that they are leaving the classroom like a mess. All of these kind of challenges were part of hackathons that I've organized in education, for example. And by organizing this, I realized after the first event already that I turned 6 people's ideas into 6 different jobs. So I was able to create job creators in one day, a 24 hours event. That was amazing, and that got me thinking I want to do this more often. So I started organizing more often these events. And I realized that I found myself a mission. My mission is to help 1 million people to turn their passion into their ideas. And I think you can do that well blending the soft skills and the hard skills. So people that are very good in their hard skills, they are like very good in structure and systems and processes and technology. It should be combined or should learn from people that have the creativity and the social skills and communication skills and experimentation skills and the willing to fail or the daring to take the opportunities. And what I started doing is organizing masterclasses and workshops, and I developed a toolkit. It's called Dutch Design Deltas for this cause. By organizing a lot of hackathons, by seeing what went well and what went wrong in the process, we started developing this design thinking methodology, and that's now in the core of the hackathons that I organize. If you look at skills and people need to actually become successful social entrepreneurs, it's better to do business together with people that have certain talents. So if you want to become a social entrepreneur on your own, you can learn a lot of things. You can learn to become a visionary, like following Tony Robbins, Elon Musk, and other visionaries out there, and seeing how they created habits to become that successful person. Richard Branson and stuff. They are visionaries, and they have been able to successfully set up a lot of companies with a social purpose, with a really massive transformative purpose. And that purpose, for example, Elon Musk is willing to change the fossil fuel industry into a clean industry, and a clean energy for powering up mobility and for powering up housing with solar panels and stuff. So these persons, they have a big mission and an ambitious goal, and they are able to have a clear roadmap, which is a different thing. So becoming a maker, it's very important that you start planning and that you start developing these making skills. Makers are different people than visionaries, and after, if you've made something, you want to sell that as well. So salespersons are also different than makers and visionaries. They are normally not the best in pitching or standing on the stage. So all of these different expertise, and after that, even being able to look at the world and see the opportunities and create business models and product lines, and being able to run and manage teams. These skills are also different skills that normally one person doesn't develop in a short time. So it's always smarter to work together to become a successful social entrepreneur. It's like a group of 4, maybe less to start with, like 3, and set up this vision, the mission, a product, and a good marketing plan and sales strategy. That's the start of any business. But if you are a social enterprise, you can also look at different alternatives. For example, in financing, you can let yourself be financed through crowdfunding, for example. This is easier when you have a social purpose, because there's so much more crowdfunding platforms that are focusing on good causes, that are focusing on arts, that are focusing on technology for good. So there's so much more platforms if you are willing to pursue a society quest. And I I'm implementing more and more of these tools and master classes in the hackathons that I've been organizing as a company. What I think is, if you're a social entrepreneur, 80% of your time you're actually spending on pursuing your goal, and 20% of the time you should be busy with financing it. If you are making impact, the impact is not always countable with money. So the impact that you measure is also solving quite different problems, like saving money for the government, or being able to change a system that is not working anymore. So you have different types of output than just a commercial company has. What I think the biggest problem is that social entrepreneurs, they take a lot of time to actually launch something that is sustainable. So setting up a product line is not the nicest thing to do, but it's always very hard, because you're normally solving problems of people, solving problems of nature, but not always that's something that you can measure with money, and being paid with money. So you have to find different alternatives and different ways to scale up your business, and that normally takes a lot of time. So for me, I've also, next to that, set up some prototypes that were focusing on social impact. For example, a lost and found app called Find It, like a Pokemon Go for spotting lost and found items, returning them to the owner. We tried to set it up for over 6 months, but we realized that we couldn't do it as a team. We missed some expertise, and we didn't have budget and that long of a patience to roll out such a platform that it only becomes a success if a lot of people in a city are downloading the app and all of that. But if you have no marketing budget, it's quite hard. And if, for example, partnering up with the national police is not working out, then it's even harder, because they have a nice channel, and they have a lot of tools and influences to get more people on board. If they are promoting your service, it would definitely help in scaling up your business. So that's one of the projects that failed. I'm working on a society tree to tackle loneliness. It's a different issue. It's also an SDG, mostly about health. People die 15 years early if they are lonely, and they get a lot of different diseases in the meantime. Like they become obese. They start becoming suicidal, and they get depressions, but they are also they also are not feeling of value to society anymore. So it's a lot of costs that the business model is like cost saving for the government that are doing, or for insurance companies that are spending so much money on these people that are lonely. But you cannot solve that in saying like, oh, we're offering a service for you as a lonely person. No, that's quite hard. So you have to find a way to offer a company some services, to make it available for free for homeless people, for people that are lonely, that people that are indoors. So you have to find different ways to approach such a quest. So what we've done is created an IoT tree, and it's called Stamboom. It's family tree in English, and this tree has a lot of sensors in it to actually measure the activity of the people around it and match the people that could help each other. So you can check in by going to the tree, and there's some seats around it, and there's a screen that you can check into, but you can also find a person to match on. So for example, if you're doing a project or you're searching for someone to help you with your groceries, you can ask this question on the interactive table that is there, and this algorithm will try to automatically match you with a person that might be able to help you. So that's something that we are setting up. We almost had an investment with the municipality of Utrecht. It's not yet done due to circumstances, like something no one could influence, really bad influences. But this is something we are building now. It's together with some companies that are really good experience in setting up like attraction parks and high risk thingies in engineering. And so that's great. As freelancers, I now work together with for example, Bruns, which is a great company that set up the attraction on top of the Adam Tower, where you can go swinging on top of that building, which is of course a big risk if you fall down all these meters. But they are partnering up to make sure the structure is safe. We also work together with a 3D print company. They are printing 10 by 10 sized items. It's called 10XL, and they are using recycled plastics. So the whole tree will become a recycled tree that is full with sensors, because when people are coming closer, the tree starts giving a heart rate in glowing effect, in colors, in lights. That's one of the things. It will also measure the amount of people that are sitting around it or standing around it with infrared sensors. And the tables itself are the matchmaking tool and a scheduling tool, an event scheduling tool, so you can organize events around the tree as well. So that's a project that I've been working on for the last 3 years. It's not yet on the streets. It's not yet implemented, but the prototypes are built. And the partners are well informed, so that we can produce this tree within 3 months and make service it for the upcoming years for example, municipalities. So that's something that I'm working on very hard. If you look at my experience, I think it's not easy to set up a social enterprise. My hackathons are also part of my social enterprise, because the power of hackathons is to actually activate and train people to stand on their own feet and to be able to create new jobs and solutions for complex problems. So that's my social enterprise in a company. But the stamboom, the family tree, is also a social enterprise, and that's not really being sold, not yet being sold. So I think what is important is that if you are setting up a social enterprise, it's always good to have an income stream, whether it be a side job, something you work on, so you can totally have your heads on with not having to sell your business for the first bidder and the worst investors. So make sure that your friends base or your funders base is based out of crowdfunding, or is based out of friends and family donations, or sometimes even subsidies can be a good way. Preferably you want to get it sponsored by a business. For example, a company wants to have more CSR, more corporate social responsibility. So you can make your business more sustainable, and funds are normally just for a year or 2 years, and they end. And what happens then with your business model? What happens then with your impact? So try to find enough sources of financing your business, and that could eventually take more than 5 years to get that perfect income stream. What is also important is connecting yourself with like-minded people. So if you find yourself other 5 social entrepreneurs, you can learn and coach each other along the way. So their successes are also your successes, and you will become a better social entrepreneur over the years. So I've been able to donate some of my money to social entrepreneurs that I really love, tackling children without access to education, for example, by giving them a handheld device to have education sources on. Yeah, that's really amazing. So I just donated my birthday money to that cause. Also, other companies that are doing great are being interviewed now by me, by setting up a podcast, a startup impact series that I just started, that is now on Spotify and iTunes and YouTube. So I can help by sharing lessons around social entrepreneurship. And I think if we are all helping social entrepreneurs further with sharing knowledge, failures and best practices, then I think we can actually tackle these SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, faster than we think. I think the most complex problems are being solved by the best gamers. So if we give people just a level that they can just try to tackle, for example, in the hackathons that I do, I challenge them on this complex level, and in the end, they are solving this, which is totally fine. You cannot solve the whole SDG. You can create an initiative that is helping SDGs going forward. So that's my tips and advice for startups, and definitely make sure that you get yourself a coach. So you find yourself people that are also been there, like serial entrepreneurs have done that, and so they can lead you the way. And don't be scared about working together with corporates if they are able to supply the tools to solve your issue. It's about your impact. It's about the end goal, and it's not about if you are making a lot of money or not. That might be nice, but it's not the main purpose of your business. So don't let investors that are only looking at after your money, don't let them into your business. Look at, for example, new business models, like the interview that we did with ShareTribe that was going to be published upcoming Monday. They have found out a new business model and a new financing model to remain the sole purpose of the company. Even though if someone in the company dies, it will live on forever. So nowadays I've been helping and coaching startups as well in the makers industry, most of all. So people that have good technology backgrounds, I help them in marketing, and then in becoming a person that is able to stand on a stage and getting investment. So that's something I really get excited about. And I've been an OpenExo coach lately. It's a book. It's called Exponential Organizations. I have the Dutch version here, Exponential Organizations. That have developed a methodology in this book, in exponential transformation. And this methodology is very useful for anyone to develop a scalable, successful business, but also to transform an existing business. So as part of OpenExo, I've been helping a business school in Thailand and in consultancy and coaching on setting up an internal startup in a business school, and finding 10 times better and more impactful products and services for educating the world. There's a lot of Fortune 500 companies that are being coached by OpenExo coaches. I'm not the only one. There's no 3,000 people on openexo.com and that are helping everyday companies to transform their purpose of the business to be able to create products that matter and that impact 10 times more people. So that's the main sole core of it. For me, I've been advising also online. So the platform also has a marketplace where you can coach and advise people on via Zoom, for example, via this channel. That's great. So you can work remotely and you can coach anywhere, anyone around the world. And yeah, I think the methodology of exponential organizations and exponential transformation, because it's a case study of 150 fast-growing startups and their recipes for success. I think these recipes for success are not being known about. In any business school, you cannot learn anything about them, except for the Singularity University, which is a private school for C+ managers in Silicon Valley. So this is a book that you and I can read, and it's such a do-it-yourself way of getting yourself successful that I'm trying now to use these tools as well in my own business. So that's something that I can advise. If you want to know more about all of what I've been doing, I'm currently, for example, organizing a Young Impact Festival. It's called Young Impact Day, a National Impact Day, where we train 13 to 25-year-old to make a bigger impact on society by giving them some tools, workshops, and technologies, methodologies, and training on a festival format. Yeah, if you want to join, do come over on 5th of June to the Netherlands in the Jaarbeurs in Utrecht. You're more than welcome. The event itself is unfortunately just in Dutch, as there's 10,000 kids and young talents are coming. So you want to make it accessible for them. So we have the content in Dutch. But this is something that I'm working on right now. And I have a side role in the Formula One, in the organization of the Formula One. That's for the first time again in the Netherlands. And I'm setting up a new minor program. This minor will be about becoming a social entrepreneur. So all the lessons that I've learned and all the theory that is behind all of this, I'm working together with some professors in the meaning economy. So that's something that I'm working on right now to set up some summer programs and set up a minor for higher education to start with setting up a meaningful company. So that's all for now. If you want to reach out to me, come over to nickvanbreda.com. That's my website. You can find all the ways to contact me over there. Sign up yourself for the siteproject.com, the site project.com, because we are setting up courses now for social entrepreneurs to learn themselves the soft skills and the hard skills that are needed to become a successful entrepreneur and to validate their products very fast. Become a subscriber of our podcast on anchor.fm/startup impact series. We are broadcasting every week a great interview with a great social entrepreneur to give you tips and tricks around becoming one yourself. And don't forget to start yourself. The world needs it. The world needs more social entrepreneurs. And there's so much issues, so much big challenges that we all are able to start solving. That go ahead and give it a try. You won't get any worse. You will work on your personality, on your heart, on your purpose, and that's, I think, the starting point of how the future of work should look like. Everyone a social entrepreneur, everyone in their talents working on SDGs, and everyone making the world a better place for our next generation. So thanks for now. Have a wonderful day, and see you and talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.